are the Hebrew Israelites. We're here for the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans.
Come.
We're here to tell our people to come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments.
Yeah.
We are from the double-edged sword.
That's right.
Bringing the word of truth.
Keep it in your face.
Written by the Most High, Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai.
Yes, sir.
Somebody fucking help me.
Bring me, brother, give me Daniel 9 and 6.
No one.
And you give me Proverbs 9, 8, and 9.
Fuck about me. Help me. I'm Colombian and Cuban. I'm down hell. No.
Daniel 9 and 6.
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 9, verse 6.
Bring it up.
Neither have we hearkened unto thy servants, the prophets, which spake in thy name to our king, our princes, our fathers, and to all the people of the land.
We have not listened to the people that bring these scriptures to you, that told you that death and destruction was coming toward you. You have not came back to these laws, statutes, and commandments. And without doing that, the only thing we'll see is death. So we're praying that our people hear us today, the blacks, the Hispanics, and the Native Americans, because you are the Hebrew Israelites that this Bible talk about. Read, brother.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 9, verse 8. Reprove not a scorner, lest he hate thee. Rebuke a wise man, and he will love thee. Verse 9. Give instruction to a wise man, and he will be yet wiser. Teach a just man, and he will increase in learning.
If you listen to these words, you will be wise, because death is coming to America. So you have to understand the only way to get up out of this misery will be to come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments.
Teach them up.
Give me Exodus 24, 1 and 8. We're telling our people who they are and why they caught up in the misery and the madness that they are a part of today.
Teach them up.
Read, brother.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 24, verse 8. Bring it up. 24, verse 1.
Bring it up.
And he said unto Moses, come up until the Lord thy, and Aaron, and Nadab, and Abish, and the 70 other elders of Israel.
He was telling Israel, look, come to me. He called all the people that were of the tribe of Levi to come to him, all the elders, and 70 of the other elders amongst the 12 tribes of the house of Israel. Read, brother.
And worship ye far off. And Moses alone shall come near the Lord, but they shall not come near, nigh.
He was letting Moses separate himself from the rest of them so that he could come and receive the laws, statutes, and commandments. Read.
Neither shall the people go up with him. And Moses came and told the people all the words of the Lord, and all the judgments. And all the people answered with one voice, and said, all words which the Lord has said, we will do.
I need you to understand that. Read that again, brother. That bottom part. Okay.
All the words which the Lord has said, we will do.
With one voice, the 12 tribes of Israel said, all the words of the Lord we will do. And we have not kept those words to this day. That's why we are in the pain and misery that we're in today. Read, brother.
And Moses wrote all the words of the Lord, and rose up early in the morning, and built an altar unto the hill, and 12 pillars according to the 12 tribes of Israel. And he sent young men of children of Israel, which offered burnt offerings and sacrifice, peace offerings of oxen unto the Lord. And Moses took half of the blood and put it in a basin, and half of the blood he sprinkled on the altar.
Now right there, he built pillars, 12 pillars for the 12 tribes of Israel unto the Mount of Sinai, which is the Mount of the Most High Yah. And then he took blood and sprinkled it on the altar. Read.
And he took the book of the covenant and read in the audience of the people. And they all said, all the Lord had said, we will do, and be obedient.
Now the 12 tribes, they heard everything that Moses had read to them, and they said with one voice that they would do and be obedient to everything that the Most High said. Read.
And Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people and said, behold, the blood of the covenant which the Lord has made with you concerning all these words.
Okay. No, you stop right there.
Okay, then drop down to 12.
Exodus chapter 24 verse 12. And the Lord said unto Moses, come up to me in the mount and be there, and I will give thee tablets of stone and a law and commandments which I have written, that thou mayest teach them.
Now, we got the tables of stone, and those people, some people say it's the 10 Commandments, but he gave those to his people so that Moses can teach them. Give me 2 Kings 7:13, and you give me Deuteronomy 1.
Read. This is 2 Kings, chapter 7. This is 2 Kings, chapter 17, verse 13.
Bring it up.
Yet the Lord testified against Israel and against Judah by all the prophets and by all the seers, saying, turn ye from your evil ways, and keep my commandments and my statutes, according to all the law which I commanded your fathers, and which I sent to you by my servant the prophets.
Now we seen the descriptions that we just read, that he gave this to the prophets to give to the people of Israel to change their ways. So now, because they didn't do it, we got caught up in the madness that we find ourselves in. Read, brother.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1, verse 1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel on this side of Jordan, in the wilderness, in the plains over against the Red Sea, between Paran, Topel, Laban, Hezrah, and Dizar.
Now that right there lets you know that it was us that he gave all these laws, statutes, and commandments to, and for us to live accordingly. We was never under a religion. We was always under laws, statutes, and commandments. When religion came, that was because the other nations believed in false entities that they called gods. We worshipped our Father.
Right.
So we was only given laws, statutes, and commandments to live by, and not religion. Give me Deuteronomy 28:1. And you give me Deuteronomy 6:7-6. Read.
This is Deuteronomy, chapter 28 from the top.
Bring it up.
And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
Did you just hear that? If the blacks, Hispanic, and Native Americans come back to the Most High, that they will be set on top of every other nation that is here upon the face of the earth. Read, brother.
It's Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 6.
Bring it up.
For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God has chosen there to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of this earth.
And I can't even make that any plainer. I can't even say anything that you can't. You have to understand this, because times is wrapping up now, and he sent us here to tell our people to come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments. It's that important. Give me Deuteronomy 28:2, and you give me second address 13, 40 and 50 through 50. Yeah. Read, brother.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 2.
Bring it up.
And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Now, if we kept the law, statutes, and commandments, all the blessings that the Most High said would overtake us. But because we didn't, we always turn to think our other ways, believing in other things instead of Him. We always get caught up in the madness that this earth push our way. Read, brother.
This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 13, verse 40. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Shalmaneser, the king of Assyria, led away captive. And he carried them over the waters, and so they came unto another land. But they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of heathens and go forth into a further country.
Now that lets you know right there that the people that was in a so-called America was the 10 tribes of the children of Israel before anyone else showed up.
Right.
And we've been lied to constantly all this time that they called them Indians. They had surnames that they took from them and started naming them after the lands that they took from them and conquered them. That's why you have people that's called Mexican. That's why you have people that's called Guatemala. That's why you have people that's called Jamaican, Cuban, all of these different things. And it's a sad thing that we believe that's who we are. Read, brother.
Which never mankind dwelt, that they might keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. And they entered into the Euphrates by the narrow passage of the river. For the Most High then showed them signs for them, and held still the floods till they were passed over. For throughout that country there was a great way to go, namely 1.5 years.
So where they came from, it took them 1.5 years to get from Assyria to the so-called Americas. 1.5 years, and the Most High kept the water still so that they could make that trip to this land. Read.
And the same region is called Assyria, Arsarit, excuse me. And they dwelt there until the later times. And now when they shall begin to come, the highest shall stay, the springs of the streams again.
You have a question, brother? You have a question? No question?
Can you tell me about
I can't hear you. Step up. You in? The UN? Is that
No, he said, can you tell me about the 12 tribes?
Oh, come here, step up. What tribe are you from? Look for your name on there. Look for your name, brother, because I know you're on there. Judah? You from the tribe of Judah? Oh, Khan, all praise. That's who you are, man. That's who you are. That's who your father was, and that's who you are. And the longer you stay here with us, we're going to go through scriptures that make you even understand it even more. You got a precept? Bring it up.
This is Exodus chapter 1, verse 1. Now these are the names of the children of Israel, which came into Egypt. Every man and his household came with Jacob. Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, Benjamin, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. All of these souls came out of the loins of Jacob, which were 70 souls, for Joseph was in Egypt already.
Bugged out, Doc.
Huh?
Bugged out.
Oh, okay. All right, brother, give me Deuteronomy 28. Scripture. 28. This is Deuteronomy that we're about to read, and it's going to show you
Got a
the...
question?
Yes, ma'am. He got you right there. Yes, ma'am.
Get behind.
back to these laws, statutes, and commandments. We got one more question, guys.
Okay, go ahead, brother.
What tribe are the white people?
They are Edomites. They're not from the tribe of Israel. They're not from the tribe. That's a whole different tribe. Just like you have the Hittites, the Jebusites, the Moabites, the Amorites. Every nation is different. We are God's chosen people. We are the 12 tribes of the line of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's the blessed one. Everybody else is just human beings. We're going to get to that, brother. Yeah. And I want you to be, we're going to start with I want you to start
Is your mother or father, Judah?
brother.
Father Judah?
They don't have the black Mexicans.
Is your mom and your mic?
Wait, no. You got the black Mexicans, railroad, Bandos. Mexicans don't like the fucking.
We don't have to worry about the brother that's over there that's bugged out. He can't help himself. The Most High is dealing with him right now. He just don't understand that he's marked for death. And it's sad. Now, read, brother.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Now, did you hear that? All these curses is going to come upon you because you refuse to listen and hearken unto the Lord thy God. So you became cursed and you don't even know why. You've been beat down viciously on a regular basis and you don't even know why it's like that.
Read. Verse 16. Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. Verse 17.
We're cursed in the cities. We live in the worst places in the city. We're cursed in the fields. You had the tobacco field, the cotton field, the sugar cane field. All these was curses that was put upon you.
Bring that out, Doc.
And we just don't even understand why we was being treated the way we was. It was because we didn't listen and hearken to the Lord thy God. Right. We are a holy people. That's right. And when we step away from that, we destroy ourselves. We have to come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments so that we can be back in rulership.
That's right.
Drop down to 20.
Verse 20. The Lord shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke, and all that thou settest thine hand unto for to do.
Every time we try to start something, it's always taken from us. When you look at what happened in Rosewood, that was a city that was doing better than most white cities. They destroyed it and burned it. When you look at Tulsa, Oklahoma, they dropped bombs from the sky on that city, and that was on American soil. And they was killing American people because all the vexation and everything was put upon us because we don't come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments. We had cities that was great, and they dropped bombs from the sky. The American people dropped bombs from the sky on our city. You can look that up, brother. Read.
Until thou be destroyed, and until thou perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken me.
Now, once we forsake the Most High, He take His covering up off of us. And now we open to anything and everything. That's why we see our brothers now bugged out, walking around here, not knowing that they men, becoming homosexuals. That's why we see our women, not knowing that they women, becoming lesbians, trying to be a man. Now, how bugged out is that? It's just a repetitious thing for us to continue out of the confines of the Most High. Read, brother. Deuteronomy 28. Start right there. Verse 1? Yeah. Deuteronomy 28.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 28. The Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart.
Look at us. I just discussed that with you. We so messed up, we're blind. We don't even know what's really happening to us. Time. And we continually stay outside the confines of the Most High till we have been destroyed, and we're not even dead. They just destroyed us mentally, so we don't even know who we are anymore. Read, brother.
Verse 29, and thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind gropeth in darkness, and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways, and thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore.
Every time we look up, we're being oppressed and spoiled evermore. Whatever you put your hand to do, they take it from you. You created the water hose, they took that. You created the combustible engine, they took that. You made the light bulb, they took that. These street lights, you made those, they took that. So everything that you do, they take it from you.
That's right.
Everything.
Great, John.
Read.
And no man shall save thee. Verse 30, when thou betroth a wife, another man shall lie with her, and thou shalt build a house, and they shall not dwell in it.
Now, when we're enslaved, we would be married. They would come and take our wife and go do whatever they wanted to her, and then bring her back to you. You would build a house, but you wouldn't live in it because they was living in it. That's just plain and simple debauchery at its best. I'm gonna take your wife, and I'm gonna take the house that you build, and I'm gonna live in it. Read.
And they shall not dwell there, and thou shalt plant a vineyard, and shall not gather the grapes thereof.
Now, when the vineyards were planted, we never got to drink none of the wine. They drunk it. We never got to eat none of the grapes. They ate them. All we did was work the fields. That's why I say you were cursed in the field. Read 32.
Verse 32, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given to another people.
Now, when we landed over here, they took our daughters and our sons and gave and sold them to their people. And there was nothing that we could do to stop. All we did was saw our babies taken from our hands and left, and we never seen them again. Read.
And thy eyes shall look and fall with longing for them all the days long, and there shall be no might in their hand.
We couldn't do anything to stop it. Now, how would you feel if your daughter was ripped from your hand and being sold to a man that lived in Texas, but you was enslaved in North Carolina? You know you would never see your daughter again. And ain't no telling what they was doing to her, because you had no might in your hand, economically or physically, to stop it.
That's right.
She was just gone. Read. 33.
Verse 33, the fruit of thy land and of thy labor shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt only be oppressed and crushed always.
And that's exactly what happened to us. When they landed over here, when they came over here, they took the land from our people, and there was nothing that we could do. They just came over here. We had spears, arrows, and stuff like that, but they had cannonballs, musket shot, so they was able to overpower you and take your land. And that's exactly what they did. Read.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations.
Now think about that. We're an astonishment. We're a proverb and a byword. They don't call you who you are, but they call you a nigga. They call you a spick. They call you everything but what you are. That's why you don't know who you are. They call us an American Negro, an Afro-American. So we named after a haircut, an Afro. Or they call us African-American, named after Scipio Africanus and Amerigo Vespucci. Those are two Europeans. So how did we get named after them? Because you don't know who you are. They call a tribe from Zebulon, they call them what? El Salvadori. That's named after a land. That's not their name. You know what I'm saying? They have took everything from us. Read.
A proverb and a byword among all nations, whether the Lord shall lead thee. Verse 38, thou shalt carry much seed out into the field, and shalt gather but little in, for the locust shall consume it.
When it talks about the locusts, it's talking about the ones that oppress you. They came and took everything. You go out there to grow your vegetables and fruit, and then they come and take it. And all you can do is watch them do it. And what's left on the ground, we are able to eat and feed our families with. Give me Deuteronomy 41. I mean, Deuteronomy 28:41.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 41.
Bring it up.
Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity.
As soon as your children were born, they would take them and give them to another people. So you never was able to enjoy your children. All your wife did was have them. And then they would take them out of her hand and sell them to someone else. Give me Deuteronomy 43 and 45.
Verse 43, the stranger that is within thee shall get above thee very high.
When you look at your neighbor, who own the stores in your neighborhood? We don't, but everybody else do. We can go through the table of nations. Everybody got a store. You got the Middle Easterns, they own the 7-Elevens. The Koreans own all the clothing shops. The Edomite own all the grocery stores. We'll never be able to be above them until we come back to the law, statutes, and commandments. Read.
And thou shalt come down very low. Verse 45, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee.
And that's exactly what happened to us, brother. Read me Deuteronomy 48 and 68.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 48.
Bring it up.
Therefore shall thou serve thy enemies which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger, and thirst, in nakedness, and in all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he has destroyed thee.
Now just think about this. Where do you get your clothes from? You don't get them from a black man. You get them from someone else. Where do you go get your food from? You don't own the stores. You go to someone else.
That's right.
If you're thirsty, you ain't got to buy water. Everything has been taken from us, and we've been brought down very low because we haven't adhered to the law, statutes, and commandments of our God. He's not their God, he's our God. That's why he got mad at us and put us into this bondage. Read.
This is the book of Deuteronomy 28, verse 68.
Bring it up.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Let's stop right there. Who was brought into bondage in ships? Can you tell me? You couldn't tell me? How did we get here to America? In ships. So that lets you know we're talking about our people. We were the only ones brought here in ships. Do it make sense now? Who you are? We were brought into captivity in ships. Read.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
Now, when Moses told us that, we was in our vicinity of our land. But he said, once you break these commandments, you ain't gonna never see that land no more. So we never seen it again. We've been in our captivity since then. Read.
They are black. Job 33, they are black. Psalm 5, black.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondwomen and bondmen, and no man shall buy you.
It's not anyone been able to say this. You had Marcus Garvey, he couldn't do it. You had Medgar Evers, he couldn't do it. You had Martin Luther King, he couldn't do it. Malcolm X couldn't do it. The only one that's going to break these chains is the Most High Yahweh. He the only one. Give me Deuteronomy First Kings 8 and 46. And you give me Daniel 9 and 12. Bring it up.
This is 1 Kings, chapter 8, verse 46. If they sin against thee, for there is no man that sinneth not, and thou be angry with them, and deliver them to the enemy, so that they carry them away captives unto the land of the enemy, far or near.
That's exactly what happened to us. He took us from our land and gave us to the land of our enemies because we sinned against the Most High Yahweh. And that's what happened to us. We've been destroyed because of that. Read, brother.
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 9, verse 11. Yea, all Israel has transgressed by thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curses is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of God, because we have sinned against him.
Now, all these blessings that the Most High said he would do to us, he gave them to us. As soon as we start sinning against him, he gave us the curses as well. I don't even know if you understood that, brother. Read that last part again.
This is Daniel chapter 9, verse 11. Yea, all Israel has transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curses is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of God, because we have sinned against him.
With that, we're going to go to Isaiah 30, 1 through 3. Yeah. Read, brother.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 30 from the top. Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. Verse 2, that walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt.
Now we went back down into Egypt to ask for the strength of Pharaoh. Give me Exodus 20 and 2 right quick.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
Now you hear that? We went back down there after he had already brought us out. He brought us out of slavery. And we went back looking for Pharaoh to help us. So what do that tell you about our mindset? That lets you know you were mentally stripped and destroyed because you start following other gods instead of your God. Read, brother.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 30, verse 20.
Get out.
And though the Lord gave you, though the Lord gave you the bread of adversary, and the ants and the water of affliction, yet shall thy teachers be removed into the corner of any more. But thy eyes shall see thy teacher, and thy ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying, This is the way, walk ye in it, when ye turn to the right hand, and when we turn to the left hand.
That's why we out here right now, brother, trying to tell all our brothers to come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments so that you don't have to suffer and die, because death is coming to America, brother. The Most High gonna burn this place. And the only way you can get out of it is come back to these laws, statutes, commandments. This is not for everybody. You're blessed. You're from the tribe of Judah. Everybody ain't blessed like that, man.
You're from the top tribe, brother.
What's really going on with us? Give me Isaiah 61. 61:1. Yeah, and you give me 2 6 and 9. We always talk about the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, but we here to let them know who they are. They our people. Read.
This is Isaiah chapter 61 from the top. The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me, because the Lord hath anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He hath sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound.
Now, is that us, brother? He's trying to free us from that. We have to come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments. I have to keep reiterating that because that's our get out of jail free card. You have to come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments. And if we don't, the only thing we get is certain death with our enemies. Do you want to die with your enemies? I know I don't. I want to see them die. I don't want to be there with them. But if we don't come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments, that's exactly what's going to happen. Read, brother.
This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6, verse 9.
Get out.
For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows.
That lets you know we got next. Because their kingdom is getting ready to fall. We let you know that Jacob is the one that come after Esau to rule the world. And that's all that matters to us at this exact time. Give me Zechariah 13 and 8, and you give me Jeremiah. Okay, you ready? Yeah. Read.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 13, verse 9. And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined.
Now, when these fires start here in America, when he start this nuclear war jump off, he gonna bring you through. But everybody else gonna be toast. Read.
And will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord is my God.
I mean, that's beautiful, ain't it? To know that the Most High is your God, and that he loved you, and that he want to save you through all the troubles and trials and tribulations that's going to go down. Read, brother.
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 9, verse 6. Neither have we hearkened unto thy servants, the prophets, which spake in thy name to our kings, our princes, our fathers, and to all the people of the land.
We don't even listen to them. We just caught up in our own madness. And everything is closing in on us little bit by little bit. The stores are becoming empty. Water is drying up. We haven't had rain in, 7 years? Not a real rain. All of these things are happening. And we have to be out here. All the brothers that's out here, man, all the ones that's out here. We could be doing anything we want, but the Most High, we'll watch you. He told us, look, go out there and tell my people what's finna happen so that they could be saved. Give me Ezekiel 33:4.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 33, verse 4. Then whosoever heareth the sound of the trumpet and taketh not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood shall be upon his own head.
Now we out here telling you to come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments. If you don't do it, your blood gonna be upon your own head. The reason why we are here, you couldn't find out right now. Read.
Verse 5. He heard the sound of the trumpet and took not warning. His blood shall be upon him. But he that taketh warning shall deliver his soul. Verse 6. But if the watchmen see the sword come and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come and take any person from among them, he is taken away in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at the watchman's hand.
That's why we out here, brother. Because we don't want your blood to be on our hands. We have to tell you the truth, and we have to let you know what's coming. Read.
Verse 7. So thou, O son of man, I have set thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, thou shalt hear the word at my mouth and warn them from me.
We out here because of the Most High. Not because we want to, but we became willing vessels to do his work. And with that, we're going to bring up the next powerful speaker. I hope you was edified, brother.